Hey, Bari.
Hi, Kayla.
Welcome to Friends of Kayla. I'm so happy we're finally filming.
Me too. Me too.
You know, I did reach out to you. I had to bring this up. I reached out to Bari before I came to Miami because I'd seen your work and I know you're Jewish, so you were the perfect fit for someone to interview. And I reached out to you and you're like, this was when I had a few hundred followers. You're like, are you a real person?
Oh my God. Yes, I know, because I was getting messages from people. Sometimes they're scams, so I wasn't sure.
No, I know. It was just funny looking back at those messages and now coming full circle. And
You're
obviously,
definitely real.
I'm real. So now we know we've met each other in person many times now. We're now going on a trip together this summer to Israel.
Yes.
So really things have come full circle. It just goes to show how small our community is, which is the power of being Jewish. So it's really amazing. So thank you for being here. Where are we today? Can you tell everyone?
Yeah, of course. We are in my art studio, which is very exciting. This is my place of creation. It's my place of joy, of happiness. So welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really fun to see all the bright colors against the white walls here. Like you can totally see your artwork fitting in so well in a Florida apartment, especially, or
Thank
Florida
you.
home.
Thank you.
Which I imagine many of your clients are probably in Florida, but also across the country.
Across the country. I have some actually even in Europe, Israel, but a lot of my clients are actually in New York and LA.
All around the world. That's awesome. So who is the real Bari? Tell us a little bit about yourself so we can get to know you.
My name is Bari, middle name Lynn. Some people don't know. They think it's my last name. My actual last name is Friedlander, Jewish. My art is really my creative expression and my escape from just the world around me. I always say art saved my life.
Did you start out as an artist? Let's take it back like pre artistry and kind of going into this full time. Like what were you doing when you graduated college? Where are you from? Like let's take it back.
Okay, back. So I'm from Connecticut originally.
Okay.
From a small town called Weston, Connecticut. And I went to Tulane for art, Tulane University in New Orleans. So Tulane was a really great place for me to do art because I was able to create art that was like immersive in the community. So I was able to paint signs for rehabilitation centers, murals for underprivileged schools, really like use my art for a cause, which is what I always wanted to do. And after Tulane, I started working in fashion. So I worked at LVMH, which is the largest fashion conglomerate in the world. And that's actually the job I quit to pursue being a full-time artist. So a lot of people thought I was crazy when I first did it. And I mean, it's been the best decision of my entire life and I've never been happier.
I mean, that's so incredible. And I feel like corporate America is really not meant for everyone. Like I'm sure you're the first one to say that might be the case. But what was the catalyst that ended up leading you to actually take that leap and quit your full-time job?
Yeah. So I actually struggled with depression and anxiety growing up. And art is always what took me out of that darkness. And it was my escape from the pain. When I wasn't able to explain myself, to explain the pain that I was feeling, the depression and the constant anxiety, my artwork was a way for me to put that on paper or on canvas when I just didn't have the words to explain it. So going to Tulane for arts and then being back in fashion in Manhattan, I kind of started losing that spark that I think I have now and I had growing up. And I slowly started feeling like I was living for others instead of living for myself and just wasn't living my genuine self. So 2019, I quit my job at LVMH and everyone thought I was crazy. And I moved to Florida, Palm Beach at the time, lived on a couch for a year, started pursuing my arts, posting on Instagram, and then it started taking off. Opened up an art studio on Worth Avenue in Palm Beach and pretty much led me to where I am today. And now I get to use my art to inspire others and utilize it to encourage others to find a safer form of anxiety or depression relief, a therapeutic method. So I've started hosting coloring series and I worked at a mental health rehab teaching art to some of the clients there. And the friendship circle, children with special needs. I worked for Basel Buddies and just really incorporating my art to help others and also just show others that there's another way to cope with what you're dealing with.
That's a lot, and I really appreciate you sharing that. And certainly there's a lot more to learn about you. And I think like what interests me the most about your story is that, at least from the outside looking in, right? Like we all see this facade on Instagram. Everything looks so perfect in Bari-Lynn's life, but that's not always the case, right? And there's always this deeper story, and your story in particular, I'm sure can resonate with so many people. So when you were deciding whether or not to quit your job, like I think a lot of people in that situation may lean on family, right? They're like, oh, I have money from my family, or I have support from other people. Like, what did that look like for you?
I definitely had the emotional support from my family and friends, but in terms of getting to where I am today and financially, this has all been on my own. I've never had a handout or family help. As much as I know my family would have loved to help me, we were not in that circumstance to do so. So I really put everything on the line, leaving this job at LVMH, and I lived on a couch for a year, and then I moved into a Craigslist apartment, really saved up the money that I worked for and made in the corporate world, in fashion, and just like put everything into this. And it was really like all or nothing. So if I was doing this, I was going to put everything I had into it and see if it worked. And I think it's working, but most importantly, it's what's bringing me so much happiness, and like having the money that I had working in fashion and the stability, really just the stability, is nothing compared to the pure happiness and like absolute joy and love for life that I have now. I've been, I don't know the correct term about healed from my depression, but I haven't had depression in years, and I had been struggling with depression for over 13 years of my life. So the past 2 years here in Miami, I feel like I'm like walking on a cloud 24/7, because to go from being in darkness since you were 14 years old to finally being set free is like the most beautiful feeling.
That is an incredible feeling. And I'm sure like the way you're describing it, right? It's a lot of it has to do with your artwork, but there's a lot more that goes into it, right? Like what did that look like for you? Like your own mental health journey? Was it therapy? Did you try different drugs? Did you do this all on your own? If you're willing to share, I just think it could really just bring a lot of awareness to people that might be listening that are maybe in a similar situation as you were, back when you were in your early 20s.
I think when I was in college or in my early 20s, when I was struggling with my depression, as well as, of course, middle school and high school, I was very much caring about what other people thought of me and always trying to put on this perfect like image of myself. And it was me trying to fit in the box for other people more than outside of the box, quite literally, for myself. So what it looked like for me was developing a yoga practice, finding a yoga practice, meditation, definitely therapy. Therapists, great. We're Jewish, so we all know a ton of therapists.
Yes.
Really starting to take care of myself. And I definitely, when I was working in fashion, it was all about like looking a certain way and being very skinny and like just controlling the world around me. And now I just kind of have let that go, and I don't really care at all what people think about me anymore. And now I actually just love myself so much, to the point where maybe it's like I should stop being so independent and maybe let some more like, people help. But yeah, I think just really like my yoga practice, meditation, therapy, fueling my body with what it needs, protein and the right formula to happiness. And I think Miami has definitely been so helpful because it's a wellness culture here. And in Manhattan, I feel like it was all the hustle and bustle and being everywhere. And here, I don't go places because I have to. I go places because I want to.
Yeah. And I feel like that energy in New York, I completely understand what you're referring to as someone that had lived there for the last 6 years. It's it can be really, really draining to be in a city that is so go, go, go and so, there's such a heavy drinking culture. There's such a heavy FOMO culture. Like you feel like you're missing out on things. And really, are you going to those things because you want to, or are you doing what actually genuinely makes you happy? That's also just a product of life, right? You get older and start to give a little bit less of a
Maybe
fuck,
I've
I
just
think.
gotten old. Who knows?
Yeah, you're just an old lady now. But yeah, I mean, I want to like dive into that more, like your experience living in New York. Like you must have been in a pretty dark place to just be like, okay, I'm done. I'm leaving New York. I'm not only quitting my job, but I'm moving to West Palm. Did you know anyone in West Palm? Whose couch were you living on?
Yeah. So the funny thing is that I didn't realize I was in a dark place. So when you're in it, when you're really in it, I mean, I knew I wasn't happy, but I didn't realize to what extent of pain I was in until I reached where I am now. So it's like looking back at that time when I genuinely like hated myself and I just hated life. I didn't realize that because I was doing so many fake things. Like I love my friends in New York and I'm so grateful for my opportunities and the job I had, but I didn't realize how unhappy I was until I found the pure happiness that I have now. But to answer your question, it honestly was just, it wasn't even so much a lot going on as much as it was like nothing impactful, nothing, my life had no purpose. I wasn't the joyful, like bubbly person you see now. I wasn't doing anything like for myself with my art. I wasn't inspiring others with anything. I didn't have a meditation practice, a yoga practice. I wasn't really into like the health that I'm in now. For me, I thought that, eating less and working out a bunch and going to work and looking the part was being healthy, but that wasn't really being healthy because my mind was wrapped up in all the bullshit. I moved to Florida not knowing anybody, and I moved to Miami not knowing anybody, and it was really just a leap of faith, but it was the best thing I've ever done.
Wow, that takes a lot of guts, a lot of chutzpah, you could say, to just leave everything that you had and kind of come down here. So you talk a lot about like having purpose and how you feel a lot more fulfilled, doing what you love, being in a city that you love, having this amazing support system around you, and our community is being, in the Jewish community. How do you feel like Judaism has impacted your journey, if at all?
So I've always been Jewish, but it was never really something that I connected with. My grandmother was a Yiddish school teacher and she lived in a kibbutz in Israel. My sister's always been the more religious. She's not religious, but just more, I guess, more religious. She would go to temple on the high holidays. And I kind of used to see it as like a nuisance, which I'm sad to say that now. I didn't understand how important it is to continue Judaism and to just be proud to be Jewish. And it really wasn't until I moved to Miami and until October 7th, which kind of coincided, where I really, really got in touch with my Jewish identity and wanted to not only use my arts kind of as a way to connect with others in the Jewish community and inspire others and kind of have a voice, but also just connect with more Jewish people in general. And ever since October 7th, it's been so much more important for me to learn about my Jewish culture, to connect with others.
So yeah, how I feel like, now having followed you on Instagram, at least for quite a bit, you've definitely been one of the more like outspoken individuals about being Jewish and about just supporting Israel. Has that impacted your business at all?
Yeah, so it's funny. I've definitely had a lot of pushback from followers and businesses that I was working with prior to having a more vocal standpoint or having a more, a voice on everything that's been happening and just being Jewish in general. And I'm going to take the name out of it, but during Art Basel, I had a collaboration with a brand that I was very excited to work with and worked very hard on the project we had. And then I asked why I was removed from all the tags on Instagram, why nothing was posted, nothing on their Instagram, nothing on their website. Everything was hidden. And they said that we love you, but unfortunately we can't post you on our page because you're Jewish.
Oh my God.
So that, and I've had other brands, when I was doing more like influencing than arts, they had to pull back from partnering with me because they were receiving hate from working with me. So I've definitely received a lot of pushback. However, I've also received a lot of love, and I've met some amazing clients that are Jewish and love what I'm doing. And so it's been both beneficial, and, you know, you can't please everybody. And if people want to hate us, then let them hate us.
I hear you, and I do agree with you, because that's something that I've personally been grappling with, right? Is like, how outspoken can you be? Granted, I'm not an artist. I work a corporate job. Luckily, I work for an Israeli tech company, so I feel very safe where I am at work. But, as I'm starting to build a platform, right, it's like this is centered around Jewish people, friends of mine who are pursuing something that they're really passionate about and are successful and really true go-getters. It's been interesting to hear this theme of, people being proud and outspoken, which is so admirable, but it's really difficult when this is your job. Like, you don't have another income to fall back on. So how do you find that balance of like finding the right people to work with, finding the right clients, and at the end of the day, like being able to make a living, because this is your career, right?
Yeah, this is my career. It's been difficult, like you said. Social media, Instagram might seem like everything's perfect. It's definitely not. But I genuinely, like I said before, to come from a place of just darkness to where I am now, I've just had such an appreciation towards the people that do support me, the brands that have wanted to collaborate with me, and I just try to look towards the positive in all of that.
Have you ever questioned like what you're posting though, and been like, maybe I shouldn't post that?
Yeah, I made these t-shirts after October 7th to raise money for the IDF. And my mom said she didn't want me wearing it around Miami, which, Miami is a great place to wear it.
I was going to say, I would feel comfortable wearing it here in New York City. Probably not. Yeah.
But yeah, my parents have definitely told me to be careful about what I've been posting on Instagram in terms of Israel. And my location, I've received some like threats. So I have to be careful about posting where I am sometimes.
What do you mean you've received threats?
Just like threats about, me being Jewish and what someone would do to me, especially as a female. So it's scary, like if I post about me being somewhere hosting events. I've had security come once to take somebody out of like where I was, and it actually impacted the job that I was at, that I was doing an event with, and I was asked to not come back again, even though it wasn't me that did anything, it was somebody else. And then only because it was unsafe for the company or clients, I was asked to not partner with them again. Yeah. But they were welcomed back at the company's next event.
This person.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The politics of things. We love politics. Well, that is very unfortunate, and I'm sorry that happened. And that's just the product of being Jewish, right? Like, we bear this responsibility as Jews to stand up for ourselves, stand up for what we believe in. But with that comes a tremendous amount of risk. And I think as someone like yourself, and even other people out there that are entrepreneurs and owning their own business, it's how much of that risk you want to take without, really hiding your identity. It's a really fine line of being authentic to your true self and hiding who you are. And I can relate to that too, right? Like, my whole life I was Jewish, like you, always was like, oh, Hebrew school kind of sucks. This is lame. Yeah. And you realize, I think,
do I really have to go to Hebrew school, Mom and Dad?
Right. Like this is so horrible. Yeah, why am I going here?
Now I get it.
Now I get it. And it's so important, but it's really crazy. It's like, until something happens, like anti-Semitism, October 7th, you have that shift and you're like, holy shit, this is why this is so important. And I wish it didn't take these large events and, our people having to literally and figuratively suffer and die for us to feel this shock of, okay, we're rooted back in our Judaism now.
It's still just so crazy to me because if this were to happen to any other like people, right? It would just the whole world would stand up for it. But something about like Kanye West, the t-shirt from Kanye West, no, none of my non-Jewish friends knew about it. Nobody posted about it that wasn't Jewish. Nobody really cared about it. But for us, I mean, that symbol, the swastika, means so much hate. It doesn't even mean hate. It means so much more than that. And the fact that like the world just kept going on with someone like Kanye West, who has more followers than the people of the Jewish population, is just baffling to me. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's been a really hard time to see people that we thought were loved ones, friends, just like not say a word because it's cool to be rooting for the underdog or whatever it may be in that situation. And I think like time and time again, it just goes to show and prove to us as people that we kind of only have each other, which is amazing and it's beautiful, but it's really, I think, also difficult as, you know, we should be able to be friends and see different viewpoints and be friends with different people and feel like we can support each other. So I think that's a big thing that our community's also been grappling with this year is like, who can you really trust? Well, getting onto a brighter topic as we're looking at all of the bright artwork behind you, can you share a little bit more about, I think I saw an interview that you did years ago now when NFTs were all of the rave. So did you end up selling your first NFT?
Yeah, I sold all the NFTs that I made.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I sold them on Foundation. So OpenSea's, anybody can post on it. And then Foundation is like an invite only. So you have to be like I don't want to say an actual artist. I'm not really sure the correct terms, but Foundation is like a little bit more like selling in an art gallery versus OpenSea, which I guess could just be like selling online anywhere.
Okay, so it's a little bit, you're more credible, of course.
You're more credible, yeah. So I sold all the ones that I made. The first one was, I think, sold to somebody in Hong Kong, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool. Can you share how much like your largest piece has gone for?
NFTs or works here?
I guess let's see NFTs first.
Okay, NFTs, not crazy. I think I sold it for $3,000.
Okay.
It was in Ethereum, but it was equivalent to 3,000 USD back then. But I'm pretty sure it ended up like dropping. I don't know how the crypto world is now. I pretty much exited that.
Yeah, I feel like you got in at the right time though, when that was
cool.
really buzzing.
It was definitely a great experience. And I was on CBS News for my NFTs, which was pretty exciting. I didn't really know what I was talking about, but
like, I don't know crypto or whatever
like,
this
I
blockchain
this
technology is.
Yeah. Any crypto boys, feel free to holler.
You're so funny. Did anyone reach out?
I mean, the buyers. They bought it, yeah.
Well, of course, yes. Someone bought it. I'm more mad at any crypto bros, you know.
Oh.
Miami's full of the crypto bros.
Miami is full of crypto bros. I don't know if they're still crypto bros after what's been
going on. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Because you do have this online presence, I'm sure you get some very interesting messages. Maybe we could share. Should we pull up your DMs right now? Or is that too much?
It'd be hard to go through them. I don't even know.
She's getting too many messages. It's hard.
The ones that I hate are ones where guys will DM me. One, on dating apps, the worst thing people say is, I can't tell which art I like more. Or they say, I love the art, but what I'm really interested in is like the other art. Something like that. I've even had someone say like, I love the art, but I don't mean the paintings. And then I reply, that's rude.
That's so rude.
Yeah.
We don't mix business with pleasure.
Don't mix business with pleasure.
Have you had
business and then pleasure, or pleasure and then business?
We don't combine the two, boys. Just don't slide in with the art line.
I mean, you can slide in with the art, but like, let's not make it an exchange. You know,
right? You can leave with that, but let's keep it PG here with the with the artwork jokes.
The worst is when somebody says, I'd love an artwork. How about I take you on a date in exchange for an artwork? And I reply, so I have to go on a date with you and I have to give you my artwork? This is like, what am I getting out of it?
Right. You're getting negative. And losing out thousands of dollars.
Time. And time.
Like, that's not a good deal
it's not a great deal
for you whatsoever. Mm-mm. Wow, the audacity of a guy to say that.
I don't know how they thought that was a compliment.
Yeah, that's not a compliment. No. But your artwork is so beautiful. And do you consider this abstract art?
Yeah. Abstract Cubism.
Cubism. What exactly is Cubism?
Cubism is, I mean, Picasso is one of the like pioneers of Cubism. And this is more of like a modern day George Condo-esque inspired cubist. I started my career in art through my line series. So my line series are these nude line drawings that are so, so beautiful, but Instagram took them down and my Instagram was like taken off. I had to regain my followers and it's just been this whole journey. I love the line drawing so, so much. So if anybody's hearing this, please ask me about my line work. They're so beautiful, but they are apparently too sexual to post on Instagram.
Oh, really? You've gotten things taken down?
Yeah, they've been taken down.
That's so sad.
Yeah. So I've had things taken down that were like Israel related, which is absurd. And then I've also had things taken down that were beautiful line paintings that I believe is so sexist and absurd that they would take these beautiful paintings of the female body down.
Oh my God. Well, hopefully you can still at least you're still making things like that and maybe selling them.
I'm still making them. I can't really post
but you
them
can't
anywhere.
promote them, which is difficult. Yeah. Do you feel like most of your business does come from Instagram?
Most of my business comes from Instagram and then in-person interactions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're out and about. You're doing a lot of events in Miami to really get your brand out there. Like you were a part of Art Basel. You've done the phone cases.
I'll be doing something for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I did an art activation last night for Charity 333, which raises money for the Holocaust survivors and IDF soldiers in poverty. And I've done a bunch of, fun brand collaborations. The one with Sharpie markers was a real dream come true.
That looked really cool. Yeah. Are there any brands out there that you're hoping or you're dreaming of one day to collaborate with?
I would love to see my work as like, it sounds silly, but like napkins and little like trays, like to put your trinkets on, like Jonathan Adler, who I actually used to be an intern for. That would be a dream. Like I would love to have my work kind of like a snippet of it, like with my phone case.
Yeah. Just on like a little.
Yeah, kind of like a burrito-esque. Like I would just love to merchandise my work. I just want my work to like reach as many people as possible and to remind people that they're not alone. So I feel like by commercializing it, I get to hit more people versus keeping it to, smaller clients' homes.
Yeah, of course. And then people know that there's this symbol and they recognize that. And that goes back to you and who you are. I actually, now that I'm seeing your artwork, it really, and I'm curious if this is what you intended it to be, but the eye.
Yeah.
Is that a symbol of your own eyes? Because you do have beautiful, big, bright blue eyes. And all these eyes are very big, bright blue eyes.
Well, thank you. Thank you and thank you. They say thank you.
I say thank you. You're welcome. Eyes.
Yeah. So for me, my artwork really is like a window into my own soul. It's everything of me on a canvas or on the panel. So these are on panel here. I think you have one canvas behind you and I have a canvas behind me. But yeah, the eyes have always just been something I've really connected to. And I want, again, with my art, people to be reminded that they're not alone. So when I felt alone in my darkest of times, the one thing I always had was my art throughout my whole life. When I was struggling with depression in high school, which was the hardest of my depression, my art and my friends were my escape from all of that. So when I left Manhattan and moved to Florida and came here with nobody, my cubism, these eyes, these figures were like my friends almost, and whenever I feel alone, I come into my art studio and I just see all these figures that are here, and it's really meant to represent us unified as one being, just as us as the Jewish population. We're all united. We're all one, Yeah, and then another little thing, one of my very close friends growing up had passed away in 2015, and he always used to wear an evil eye necklace. And so the first cubism I did, I just was kind of thinking of him, and now I have this evil eye in every painting, and he's just like a little reminder in each one of my works.
Like, that's so beautiful.
Thanks.
I love that story. And I think that's also just such a reminder of like, you know, be grateful for what you have, see the vision. It's a very like visual marker, that eye. It's like these are the colors, see the light. At least that's what I take away from your artwork.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what like part of the intention behind it as well, which it sounds like it is. So Barry, a few more questions for you. Do you find I'm just so curious. I do have some friends in New York who are artists as well, actually like Jewish artists, and paint more abstract, like bright, colorful paintings. I feel like my friends that are artists, they're interesting people. Like you guys are artsy. You have this vision. You know, I can't say I'm the same, right? So when it comes to like finding a partner or finding people that you connect with, are those typically artists? Are they typically people of other professions? Like what have you seen in terms of like style and personality that seems to be something you really connect with?
So like the types of people I gravitate towards.
Yes, whether that's romantically or just even friendships.
To be honest, I feel like sometimes I could talk to a wall. Like
That's great. That's a great quality.
Yeah, I kind of like, as long as the person is a positive person, I really just gravitate towards positive energy. So I can really, sometimes I feel like I can like read people's energy. And whenever I walk into a room, I just imagine myself with like a rainbow bubble around me and how I would want other people to feel when, or how I would want to feel when somebody walks into a room. So whenever I walk into a room, I try and make sure I, make people feel like they're not alone, always be nice to everybody. And I think I just gravitate towards positive people, whether they're artsy, not artsy. Dating wise, maybe not another artist because I want to be the artsy one.
Right.
And I've definitely dated an artist before and I felt like a lot of competition. So in a relationship, I would like somebody that supports my dreams. I'm definitely like a very, very busy person and I love to create. So yeah, I like to be surrounded by other like busy entrepreneurial people that we can inspire each other. So I would say most of my friends and dating prospects are usually people that are also busy and creating fun things and just want to like make a difference in the world and be positive to other people and inspire others.
Yeah, that's a beautiful.
Like you.
Oh, thanks, Barry. Well, I'm so excited that we finally like got to meet and now we're connected and have this journey coming up. We're so connected that we're going to Israel for 2 weeks this summer and I really can't wait for that.
Should we share with them about what we're doing?
I think we can give a little sneak peek. Do you want to share?
You share.
Okay. Well, we are going on a trip called Storytellers Through Birthright. One of our good friends, Jacqueline, started this program. Shout out to Jacqueline. It is a program to bring like-minded Jewish individuals, creators, entrepreneurs together in Israel to really just mingle with people that are maybe grappling with our Jewish identity and not understanding kind of where we sit within this new generation of what Judaism will be for our children and future children and grandchildren. So I'm really excited to get together and really establish my own Jewish voice a little bit more clearly because it's really hard to put that out there on social media and take a stance, but you've already taken a stance. So I give you a lot of kudos for that because it's difficult to do.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I haven't been to Israel since Birthright. And that was a time when I wasn't really focused on my Jewish identity. And I feel like a completely different person. I mean, I am a completely different person from when I went to Israel last. And I can finally go back and really experience it in a frame of like a mindset of happiness and light because I went to Israel in a time where I was definitely dealing with my depression. And so I'm excited to go and to paint with others and see like what we can do with helping others there.
I'm excited. Maybe you'll lead a painting class
I
for
think
us.
that's what I'm doing.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
okay, that'll
yeah.
be really, really fun.
Yeah.
And just, I think now you're in that mindset where you're going to be able to connect deeper to your spirituality being there too. I think it's going to be a really great, like transformative trip for you. I've been recently. So for me, like I'm really obviously very excited, but for someone like you that hasn't been in several years now, like this is going to be a really, really great trip to look forward to for you.
I'm definitely very excited. And just to touch on what you said about painting with others and leading a class, something that I started doing since I left my career in fashion to be an artist, Once I kind of established myself in the art world and had, you know, an art studio and selling work, I started hosting these coloring series events. The first one was to raise money for underprivileged youth. So it was with children. And then it went on to the friendship circle, and then working with patients or clients at the mental health rehab. And then I started just doing them in Miami and LA and New York and showing people that they can use art as a therapeutic means of just like getting away from everything, you know? And so that's been really fun to take my work and not just be an artist who's selling paintings, but also to lead coloring events, to teach people that there's a therapeutic aspect to coloring and that you don't have to be an artist to get those benefits from it. Anybody can paint or draw or journal, and it's just so important to have that outlet.
No, that's such a great point, because I feel like even nowadays it's trendy to go to like a painting class or even just like get a coloring book on Amazon and start coloring as just an outlet. And it's becoming a lot more normalized, which is really nice that there's all these different outlets that are not just therapy or medication to be able to kind of get that release. So that's great that you're really incorporating the mental health awareness into your everyday work.
Stay tuned for the coloring book I'm coming out with.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah.
Something to promote. That's exciting.
Yeah, because I did a coloring event with like Bumble, the dating app, and I've done some at the One Hotel in Sagamore, etc. So I'm going to take a bunch of those and put it into a book and hope it helps some people.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's gonna be a bestseller. I can feel it. I'm feeling the energy. Bari, if there's one piece of advice you would want to leave someone listening, what would you leave them?
The one piece of advice I'd give people, as cliche as it sounds, is that your story is not over. And genuinely, again, it sounds cliche, but never give up, because you have no idea how bright the other side is. I felt like giving up so many times, and now I'm here, and I've never been happier in my entire life, and it's only going to go up from here. So never give up.
Thanks, Bari. That's beautiful. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kayla.